All right. Well, this is version 5 of Wayfinder. This is our partnership tool. It has two major functions. Number one is to grade the health generally of your partnership programs. And number two, and then two, do the requisite marketing to get your marketing efforts out to your target partners at the level of success that you're looking for. So quickly, this is the dashboard. You can answer about where your budget is, whether that's for your upcoming cycle or just trending over your past many years. If you have that information, some clients come to us, they want to know, for instance, what is the stage of where we are, what their upcoming cycle. We'd like to understand, do we have the target partners that we're looking for? Do we keep signing them? Do we have a myriad of ways of what we would call the right ways to measure what those are. You can take a look at many different kinds of charts, graphs, very easily presented to your most critical executives that will be able to easily answer their questions. You also have a few gadgets, gizmos along the way. You have a tool for invoicing, for instance, and we'll try to take you through all of that. Your reasoning model can answer any question that your executive has, and we are then able to reference the available data that you do have. And if you don't have some and you have some of the other, we'll find a way to tie it in to our custom quality management system, Wayfinder. At least that's one thing that it does. And what you get is a really rich, detailed answer that ties in the background. We, of course, use a little bit of the magic coding to reference your data. So, very useful tool that we found uh, and developed meticulously over time. You have of course, a history of your past queries. And uh, here, if we're to jump past the quality and partnership aspect, we just have a number of ways to market. Okay, I said that would come later, but let's just show you. This is the face of your organization. This is your outreach. And this is how you will be able to acquire the partnerships that you want. You will notice, of course, to make a very targeted outreach, there will have to be custom information. For instance, we have the company name here, as well as a few projects, maybe one of like 400 to 500, maybe a few thousand projects that have been done in the past by the school. That information is referenced from someone in your contacts here and what they've given you through the discovery period, which might be a couple of weeks, of course, with prospecting. I'll show you quickly how it works. You choose your company. If you're one of our associates, you're able to use a prompt to query that information that comes up about the client. And then you have the right pitch to throw in to your marketing material. You save as a PDF, you're in and out in a very, very little time. The alternative is having someone remember all the information about hundreds and hundreds and thousands of partnerships. It's not realistic. And if somebody leaves that's able to do that, you're putting all of your keys with someone that effectively left the company. So rely on processes in a mature organization. And of course, you have an email template as well. If you're not at the marketing stage where you're throwing in materials, if you're still prospecting, you're able to build based on certain templates that you may have. So you get a base level email, change it out. We can tie, of course, our tool into Outlook and send this information out very quickly. Your client name will also bring up their information that's relevant as well, at least as far as sending your email. And if you don't like the specific format, some of the functionality, if your mind is already going to those places, the odds are that we can do that. Now, we do have a tool for invoicing in terms of how it works, very straightforward, won't overstate it. You have your accounting, you have your ability to generate a PDF. So yes, This tab is your invoice. You're able to quickly shoot out a very high quality invoice that matches your template. You can change exactly what that looks like. And of course, we can get all the way to generating it, depending on how you want to send it out, whether PDF, whether it's going to be printable, that's all customizable. But we just want to give you an idea of the functionality. This tab is about personas. It's another great data field that we've found to be able to tailor that experience just that last mile in order to really have that warm approach that leads to signage. You're able to put in notes, what your referenceable cells, your status of how your uh, this tab is actually just about your personas. You're able to put discovery notes in that change your ability to really get that marketing efficiency to the last mile. We are able to all but guarantee that having notes on your discovery. Look, we all know that a custom pitch works. If you have a persona plugged in, you're only targeting certain personas, for instance, you can put a notes that act as an extra filter to get your marketing and outreach efforts through that last mile. You are able then to use a simple priming approach to make your outreach efforts so much more efficient. Think of this page as the short list of the personas that you would most want for your target clientele. These can include, for instance, let's take a pharmaceutical based school. You might want more projects in medical device engineering. So you would target that specific persona. Then we would work through all the efforts of running the surveys to understand what kinds of projects are students desiring if our client was a school. If our client was, let's say a CDMO, and they're doing outreach because they have a new platform that they're able to accept, well, that outreach result would look just a little different. And we're happy to do those ancillary administrative operations services. But it definitely an effective filter. You want to throw in all of your past projects. It's very, very important to look at some of where the historicals, to look at the trending, how many partnerships have we had. You can answer questions about, for instance, what was the result of that project, and essentially you're able to use some of our custom coding to actually assign each of the projects to personas on its own. So it'll find the right way to categorize and then be able to visualize for you. We have another way to categorize. You give a few notes. This tab operates as a master list for all of your projects. Very helpful when you're running reports. Your executive, your provost is asking for the historicals. How many times have we signed it with this company? What was the average score of the project's outcomes? You have two very, very neat ways to assign into personas. I would just work with a click of the button. All of the project descriptions would be then cleaned and analyzed. And that's how you get your personas. You can also create a very clean description because it's no joke that the amount of verbosity when you have a company describing perhaps its project. There may be an abundance of information, about the company and perhaps not as much about the actual specific nature of the project. So we've learned through trial and error that you definitely want to clean your descriptions before classifying. This is very, very important to be able to have an accurate reading. We do at OpenSeas go the extra mile. You also have another fail-safe option, which is to just put in what predefined categories you have. Some partnerships are only looking at, cell therapy startups in San Diego. So it's okay to then just have that predefined category. Client master list, you can have a line per your company, you're gonna have its classification, another very, very helpful way, which of course can be auto-classified, just to take a look at the historicals. Some of these decisions in this reporting could lead to increased funding. So a lot of money is on the line and a lot of support for what your organization is seeking. What you do have here is our classification. Okay, this tab is our client master list. You have a line per client. You're able to then have a ranking. You can then rank whether the partnership is active or could be active again. You can classify the client into personas as well. This is a very, oh shit. Okay, this is the client master list. You have a line per company. You have exactly what their classification is, which is helpful to reference as a data field. You also are able to rank according to your key here. What is the fit, for instance, of that client? Do we want to keep re-signing them? And of course, you can grade the recurrence. Do we have succession right now with the partnerships? Do we have a retention strategy as well? And that's another module that can be added. But this is a quick way to reference and report where we're at with a certain company. You could also break it up by the classification into classifications that are close to one another. For instance, I may not necessarily care about a specific part of uh, the corner of the market, but something adjacent to it could be useful in some scenarios as well. In order, maybe you're doing market research, for instance, but we can make it as complicated as you'd like. We tend to think that simple is more valuable. From there, you do have contacts that I won't spend too much time on, but you can basically import your emails from your CRMs and have a lot of great data for your outreach. Now, these individuals have their full contact information. They're also sharing their position, and you can then reach out. Again, won't spend too much time on that. It's another one for the background there. But yeah, that's a little bit about Wayfinder. Again, we very much believe in putting both feet forward into open source. So if there's something you like about this tool, feel free to incorporate it into yours. Our strength is really not Wayfinder itself, but the people over at OpenSeas and the culture that we bring is about solving a problem. So if there's anything you like there, feel free to spark the next phase of the conversation. Thank you for listening.